Got you covered, dog.
And we're live.
Hi, welcome to the On Fire Show. This is your host, Daryl McKell-Brooks. I'm also with Felicity Joy, my co-host. We have a very special guest, a very, very special guest, former NFL player, actor, activist, historian. He has done it all, director, producer. I have with me a great man, Fred the Hammer Williamson. Thank you for coming on.
Hey, the hammer's in the house.
Hammer's in
The Hammer.
the house. Amazing, amazing.
It was your miss one occupation, dude.
What was that?
I'm a licensed architect.
Oh, a licensed architect. Wow.
Yeah, I graduated from Northwestern with an architecture and engineering degree. So during the off season, when I wasn't playing pro football, I worked for Bechtel Steel, designing power plants and buildings for Bechtel Steel. And on the side, I had my own little practice in Oakland doing architecture.
Okay.
Yeah,
we also learned something behind the scenes. What else you did during the off season?
Education is important. You know that.
Yes, that's definitely, education is important.
Yeah.
So we want to start off talking about your the AFL career. What was it like playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Oakland Raiders, and what was the experience coming out of high school as an African American and going into college and playing pro football, especially back in those days?
Well, you just covered a lot of territory, dude. You just covered a whole bunch of subjects there. First starting with being an African American. I've always told myself that I was going to be famous, was going to be popular because so many people looked at me, Black people, white people, because I was a good-looking young kid. Okay, so I didn't know that they were looking at me because they didn't like me. I thought that they stared at me because they liked me, and I used to walk through the neighborhood from my house to school and get all this attention. Now, what other color could I be and get so much attention? Meanwhile, at home, my mother saying, don't walk this way because the white people are going to bother you and they don't want you walking through their neighborhood. But she didn't know I was already walking through the neighborhood. So it was because what else could I do and get so much attention by just walking through the neighborhood? Now it was up to me to what to do with that attention, to make something out of it. So when I'm 8 years old, I set up a lemonade stand 2 blocks away from my house in front of a white guy's.
Gary, Indiana, in front of his white friend's house. He comes out and he says, what you doing? I said, I'm selling lemonade here for $0.05 a glass. He gave me $1, took my lemonade and poured it on the ground. You know what happened? Every Monday, I'm there with my lemonade stand, waiting for my $1. Hey, I made use of being Black, dude. I was not fighting being Black. I was taking advantage of being Black.
Talk about making lemonade out of lemons.
Well, I was doing really good until one day I was changing pants at home and my little bankroll fell out, which was all about $12. Fell out of my pocket. My mama said, where you get that money? I said, well, I've been selling lemonade down the street. She went, pow, 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 pow. Take that money back and give it to him. So I went back, gave him his $12 back and said, thank you very much, man.
Wow. So, what was it like during those days? Because I've seen other interviews that you have done, and you talked about, making it, especially in college and NFL, and you had to go back to the inner city and let your boys know that, I'm going to the NFL. What was that like?
Well, again, you went too fast, man.
Okay.
So I never wanted to be a football player. That was not my thing. I was a track star. I was a fast track star. I was a 100-yard dash, 400, 200. So I was never into football but I found out that girls like football players. So that's why I took up football, man. So when I got out of high school and graduated, they came after me on track scholarships. But the problem was, it was mostly colleges who were going to take me. Well, I got my bodyguard here. Whoa, I'm all right, dude. Chill. Okay. So they would come and take me around to the Black neighborhoods in the universities, like University of Illinois, Indiana State, Howard University. And I said, look, I know this lifestyle. I want to learn something different. I want to go to another school where I can not only get an education in life, but I can get a scholastic education. Dude, yo. So I chose Northwestern. Because I was the first Black athlete on scholarship at Northwestern.
Wow, okay.
And they went on a track scholarship, but the first year I was there, my freshman year, you couldn't play football back in the day when you were freshmen. Ara Parsegian came to be a coach at the same year that I came there. And he heard about this guy, me down there running track at 185 pounds, beating everybody in 100 and 200. So one day he came to me and he says, son, you ever considered playing football? I said, no, why should I? Well, you ought to change your scholarship, come play football. Again, I said, why should I? And so he made a reasonable advice to me what I would do, what I would get if so I wound up with a whole bunch of things that I can't tell you about because then, I'll be a snitcher, but I changed my scholarship and went to football. And hey, the rest is history, I got drafted by the 49ers. So I was a rookie with the 49ers. So now I'm All-American flanker back, catching the ball, running. I made All-American 3 years in a row at Northwestern. So I go to the 49ers, and the first day in camp, they give me a red shirt. I said, what's the red shirt for? Does that mean I'm special? He said, no, son, you're playing defense. I can't play defense. What are you talking about? You know who I am? I catch the ball in my mouth, in my teeth. You're going to make me a defensive back? What is that? I don't know how to run backwards. He said, well, son, if you're going to make this team, that's what you're going to have to play. So, okay. 4 or 5 days later, I'm falling all on my face. I can't cover nobody. I'm tripping. I'm falling. I'm saying, hey, I can't do this. He comes to me after practice one day and he says, son, I'm going to have to let you go. And I said to myself, there's no way I'm going back to the ghetto and tell the brothers that I can't make no little poop butt team, man. I mean, I'm the baddest dude in the neighborhood. I can't make no football team. Are you crazy? So next day, come out, they put a flanker in front of me, pass receiver, R.C. Owens in front of me. I'm about 2 yards off of him. I could tell you what he had for breakfast. Coach says, Williamson, get back. He's going to make a fool out of you. I says, yeah, okay, just hike the ball. So they hiked the ball. He came out, made one step. I dropped this on him, knocked him out. Coach runs over and says, goddamn Williamson, what are you doing? I said, I covered him, didn't I? He said, okay, back up, stop hammering my players so I could get some offensive end. That's how I became the hammer.
Wow. So talk about, what happened when you went back to your neighborhood. Was it excited?
No, they weren't excited. First of all, they didn't believe me. I'm in 49er camp. I'm spending money. I'm calling back to the hood, man. Guess where I am, man? I'm in 49er camp. Oh, man, you ain't nowhere. You across the street. You're in the pool hall. No, I swear, man. I'm hitting here. I know here's R.C. Owens and Alley Oop and all these guys. I know these people. I said, no, man. No, that ain't happening. You cross the street. I swear, man. I tell you, I spent all my little money on the phone calling back to my partners in the ghetto, man, telling them where I was. They didn't believe it. So then after the whole exhibition season, they traded me to Pittsburgh. So I go to Pittsburgh for 1 year. And this was exciting to me because I'm in front of all kind of people, man. My roommate was Big Daddy Lipscomb.
Wow.
I'm playing against Johnny Unitas and all these people. Yeah. Boy from the ghetto, man, out there doing this. So I lasted 1 year with Pittsburgh and went back to Oakland after that to get my clothes and come back to go full time in Pittsburgh. And Al Davis gave me a call. He said, son, we need you over here in the American Football League. You'll be more exciting, you'll make more money, and you'll be more popular if you came over now to the new American Football League. I said, well, I don't know. Why should I come? He said, I'll give you a $500 raise. I got on a bicycle, dude. I was across that Bay Bridge before he could. That $500, let me tell you what.
$500 raise. That's great.
Check this out. I'm number 2 draft. How the difference? I'm number 2 draft choice. Okay. My signing bonus was $1,900. My starting salary was $9,005.
Oh,
so
wow.
When Al Davis offered me $500, I'm now making 10.
Yeah.
I'm rich, right? I mean, that's how it has changed from 1960, which was my rookie year, to now. It's unbelievable.
What was your relationship with your family? Was your mom proud of you? Was she still around at that time?
When I talk to my family, my mom says, why don't you get a real job?
Of course.
Why don't you come home and get a real job, right?
Yeah.
So I said, this is a job making money. She said, no, that's not a real job. You could be, with your education, you could be a doctor, you could be a lawyer, you could be something that people would know about. I said, Mama, they're gonna know about me. Don't worry about it. They're gonna know about me, and I'm gonna pay for that house, and I'm gonna move you. But she wouldn't move. So what I did was I built a house beside it, attached it, and I made it a huge house. And finally, they understood that I was doing okay. But until
Wow.
then, come home. They don't
You're
like
a
it.
true trailblazer. I mean, for your whole area, for your family, you were the one that showed them something different.
For sure. That being black is not a negative, not a negative. It can be a positive if you understand.
Yeah. So what was it like also with other black, I guess, AFL, NFL players? Did y'all have a camaraderie? Did you talk over the phone? Did y'all have, because you're talking about the 60s.
Yeah.
What was it like with the other African-American players?
There was a lot of negativity against me because I was outspoken. I was the guy who was the leader. It's like, if you want something done, tell the Hammer, he can go talk to them, right? So there was a lot of negativity against me because I was the man who spoke out, and I didn't really care about repercussions because doesn't matter. I could do a lot of things other than play football, right?
Yeah.
So even today, you cannot believe the negative. You know that famous words that black folks say to you. You think you something, don't you? If you heard that tonight, you think you something.
Yes.
I don't know what you mean by that. What do you mean by that? I mean, I've done everything I want to do, and you going to see me in the movies. Yeah, you think you're really something. Okay? All right. So I don't deal with that, man. I just say, yeah, okay, if that's how you feel, thank you very much, and I move on with my life. I don't try to explain me to nobody.
Yeah, that's awesome. So as we move out of to the AFL and you go into movies, what was your decision to leave the AFL and join, become a movie star?
I left pro football because I got bored. I wasn't being challenged mentally. I was being challenged physically, and I was being judged on my physicalness and not my mentality. So I got bored with it. And that's when I went full time with Bechtel Steel. I went full time. But I had waited too long. All of a sudden, I'm sitting behind a desk and I'm doing 9 to 5 and an hour for lunch. And I'm saying, wow, after about 9 months, almost a year, I said, I can't do this. And I couldn't make this adjustment. So one night I'm watching television and I see Diane Carroll had a show called Julia.
Yeah.
Black actress who had her own show. And each week, the guest star was a new black actor. So I said to myself, as I'm watching this, as the Hammer would do, I'm better looking than any of those guys. I'm going to Hollywood and become Diane Carroll's boyfriend. I went to Hollywood, packed up my little Jaguar XKE that I had at the time, put a trailer onto it, drove from San Francisco to LA. Yeah, okay. So I parked my trailer, went to the trailer to Mr. Fox, and I said, I'm here to see Mr. Hal Canner. They said, do you have an appointment? I said, no, I don't have an appointment. Well, you can't come in. Okay. I drive around the block, pick it up the payphone, call to the gate. This is Mr. Hal Cantor's office. We're expecting Mr. Williamson. Will you let him in, please? Bang, hang up. Went back around. Oh, yeah, we just got a phone call by you, Mr. Williamson. He's in bungalow 24. So I'll go down, go in bungalow 24, talk to the secretary. I says, tell Mr. Hal Cantor, there's a Hammer here to see him. And she did the boom, boom. She squawk box. She says, Mr. Cantor, there's Mr. Hammer here. I said, no, Mr. Hammer. The Hammer is here to see
The
you.
Hammer.
He's a football player. I said, yeah. So come on, let's talk. So we'll come in. I talked for 15 minutes about football. He said, why are you here? I said, well, I'm watching your show. Diane Carroll's making love to a different guy each week. Now that's a different kind of person that we don't want to see on television. What you need is a regular boyfriend. And he said, yeah, well, we've been thinking about that. I said, we don't think about it anymore. I'm here. He said, you ever acted before? I said, I did 3 years of Raisin in the Sun, 5 years of Carmen Jones in Canada. Now I took him to Canada because I know he didn't know squat about Canada. If I'd have said New York, he'd have been asking me all about repertoire companies and all these people. So he said, okay, what we'll do, we'll write a show for you. So he wrote a show for me called Dancer in the Dark. Pro football player, retiring from pro football, come to work where she works. We fall in love and we have a relationship. 3 years I played Diane Carroll's boyfriend on the Julia show.
Oh, awesome.
It's so incredible. I love that.
Well, what's the worst thing anybody can ever say to you is no.
Right.
Yeah.
No. And if somebody says no to you, it's your fault. Don't blame them. Go back, do a redo, do a do-over, just like an errant golf shot. You want to do a golf shot that goes left, you want to do-over because you don't usually hit them to the left, you hit them to the right. So what you want is a do-over, but I've never had to do a do-over.
Mm.
Yeah. So
it's just going to that phone booth and just making a way, right?
What can you say, but no.
yeah, awesome. You know, I am looking at your bio, and you know, I'm looking in the 1960s and the 70s, and I have to ask you this question.
Yeah.
What was this movie, The Legend of Nigger Charlie?
Yeah.
That is something that I've talked to some friends of mine, they some older friends who seen that, and it was one of the most interesting things that it talked about. You know, you're talking about 1972.
Yeah. What do you want to
The Legend of Nigger Charlie. How did that come across to a lot of people, even the producers, directors? That name, and put it out.
But obviously, it was a brilliant move. It was working on the negativity of people's character, giving them something that's controversial. So everybody wanted to see what the hell this movie was about. So what happened when it starts playing in the theaters from 12 o'clock till 3 o'clock was all white audience with their little attaché cases coming in New York. We opened in New York. They're coming from all the offices coming to see what this movie is about. After dinner, between 7 and 10, it was all black. So what I did, capitalized on the controversy, because what I did, I took a 40-foot poster in Times Square, shirt off, arms folded, 2 guns on my side, and I said, he's coming. I was there for a week. All I said was, he's coming. After the second week, I changed it. Nigger Charlie has arrived. Beware. That was it. Then I listed all the theaters down there where it was playing. Lines around the block forever, dude. Want to see what this controversy stuff was about. It was a ploy. It was a ploy against people's ignorance about the word nigger. That's all.
Wow. Felicity?
What do you think was the effect of just putting that out there and bringing the exposure to something different for people?
Well, it's something that was smack in their face, you know? And some people retaliated. Some black folks didn't like it. But once they saw me doing what I was doing, winning the fights, being the hero in the film, then it got accepted. Because Nigger Charlie said in the film, ain't running no more. Nigger Charlie ain't running no more. All right? It was all playing. It was all playing on people's mentality and their lack thereof of understanding. There ain't no difference between black and white, you know? So I made that quite clear. And the follow-up was The Soul of Nigger Charlie. And after that was Boss Nigger. Okay. So I picked the word up, dude. I use it up, home.
Yeah. So you know, one of the questions that people ask me to ask you when they talk about, when they say black exploitation, was that a negative term that Hollywood put on, especially your movies? Because maybe they were angry with you. They didn't like the fact that you were producing, directing, and acting in these movies. They were great movies. You know, I'm talking about Black Caesar.
Yeah, but listen,
Hell Up in Harlem, Three the Hard Way.
Listen, man, you asked me to explain people's ignorance. I can't explain people's ignorance.
Yeah.
The film was a good film. It was an exciting film. If you didn't like the title, don't go see the film. It's real simple. I was just I was creating a character. I was creating an image. Forget the title of the film after Nigger Charlie, because then I had already created that macho image from those films. So I moved on to a different kind of macho. Now I'm kicking your butt, not because you're calling me a nigger, because you're just ugly, or you're doing something bad, or you hurt my woman. That it changed. My motivation changed. So I'm kicking butt for different reasons now. So then Black Caesar and Hell Up in Harlem had nothing to do with color. I was kicking black folks' butt, white folks' butt, Puerto Ricans' butt, Mexicans' butt. If you were wrong, you went down in my movie. Real simple. It wasn't black and white.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome.
To like have to do with your approach on life as well, just not letting anything bring you down, not letting anyone tell you no, like you can't. If there's something that you're wanting or something you believe is right, that's what you go for.
Use all that negativity as a motivation.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. You use it as a motivation. You don't back away from it. You walk up to it, and the best thing you can do is have somebody say, whatever they say to you, says, that may be, can you explain that? Can you explain yourself to me? Explain what you're talking about. Explain what you really mean. Then I can have a conversation with you. Now you're dealing with me emotionally. That's different. Explain to me what you mean. Can you intelligently explain to me what you mean? And the more you explain it, the more foolish you look.
But that's after you get their attention, right? After you get people out of their, I don't know, it just seems like a haze that comes over people, and it's kind of seems to have returned. You just, you say black or racism and people just jump.
Hello?
Yeah, but listen, we have a famous saying. Black people have a famous saying that gets everybody's attention. All you do is go, say what?
Right.
Now you got their attention, which means explain what you just said.
Mm.
Explain that. Say what? And when the hammer say what, it's it's like, say what?
So Three the Hard Way, these other great movies. What was it like, especially playing with Jim Brown?
Yeah, Jim and I have been buddies and friendly competitors all our lives. If we start playing basketball, somebody's going down. We're going to end up with a bloody nose. I'm going to end up with a bloody nose. You're going to end up with a bloody nose. And after that, we're going to shake and hug each other and say, hey, damn good game, man. We had this competitive thing. We brought Jim Kelly into it. And
Jim Kelly. Yeah.
Kelly into it, and he became the same thing, And so we had a great camaraderie going, but it had sparks, we liked each other, but it was always a test. Somebody had to be a loser and somebody had to be a winner, and it changed from time to time depending on what we were doing. Okay. It was a very good relationship that might explode at any time. As a matter of fact, Jim and I got into a big fight playing basketball in the backyard because he had a basket against his garage. Flat against the garage. So if you drove into the basket, you'd have to bounce off of his garage. So one time I went in and drove, and Jim slammed in the garage, and next thing you know, we're up in the air. You know who had us? Will Chamberlain. Says, you guys are friends, man. Calm down and let us go. So yeah, we have a great competitive relationship even today.
Talk about the exciting time of the 70s. You said, Jim Brown, Will Chamberlain, Jim Kelly. What was it like in the 70s, the Black cinema?
It was hard. It was hard because the people in it made it hard. Jet magazine made it hard. Ebony made it hard.
Wow.
They gave, the worst thing they did, they gave an Academy Award, a nomination Academy Award to the guy who did Mandingo. Now, Mandingo got to be the worst film ever made depicting Black people in a movie when the boxer played the part of Mandingo.
Yeah.
Ken Norton. Slaves are lined up and old women are coming by and sticking their hand down inside their pants and feeling their stuff, and say, oh, we'll take this one. So I'm saying, how can you give these people your permission to have an Academy Award? You name these people Academy Award. Is that the stupidest thing I ever seen? Secondly, Jet magazine, Ebony, they were fighting with Hollywood about, let me read your scripts before you make the movie so we can okay it. Now you crazy? I'm spending my money. I'm gonna let you make a decision about what I should do. That's what the producers in Hollywood were thinking. You gotta be crazy. So they were fighting each other. And it didn't really help the movement a lot. That's why it only lasted 5 years. It lasted 5 years because there was so much in-house fighting, so much negativity in-house, it self-destructed.
Was that just about control? Just wanting control of the narrative?
All about control, and also about the fact that we were outgrossing them without spending a lot of money. Their films, they were spending 80 million, 90 million. Unbelievable salaries at that time. And we were making movies at 500,000, 1,500,000. I think Shaft cost $1.5 million to make, right? But they got lines around the block seeing Black Caesar and Shaft, and across the street, $80 million is getting nobody.
Right.
So they had to do something to cut this other competitor out, and they just claimed it black exploitation, which I never understood, because who the hell is being exploited? I mean,
Yeah.
black people are now working, making more money than they ever did before. Black people can now go to the theater and cheer for their heroes. So nobody was being exploited, but they used this word to make it all go away, and it did.
Not only that, but it was actually about empowerment. It was showing people the way they wanted to be seen, and giving people hope and motivation, whereas constantly berating the slave narrative and everything like that, it's disempowering. You barely want to get up in the morning, right? Because you're like, your history becomes your future when you look at everything like that.
We had heroes. We had black heroes.
Right.
I mean, I didn't have any growing up. I mean, Sidney Poitier was a great actor, but he never slapped anybody. He never hit anybody. I mean, I'm a physical person. Somebody somewhere along the line, you deserve a little slap in the face, right? So, so I never saw that. I never had that growing up. I had Stephen Fletcher, I had Sidney Poitier, I had Belafonte. All these people are great actors, but I'm a physical person. If somebody does something wrong and you continue to do it, you deserve a slap down the road. And it didn't happen. So if I got into the business, I told myself that I'm going to do what I do in life, and I'm going to challenge you. And if you want to face the challenge or walk away from me, that's okay. But I'm going to challenge you physically, and I'm going to challenge you mentally. And that's what's in my films, man.
And you continue to, I mean, you never let anything stop you. So, what was in your mind? What was the next move after that, after you saw how, they just weren't going to let this continue to flourish?
Well, because I've done about 80 movies, and 70 of them I produced, I wrote, and I directed. I learned the business of the business. You want to make a change in something? Learn the business, learn how they do it, learn how they raise the money, learn how they make them. So now I make my own films. I thank them for that. I thank them for teaching me and allow me, to learn on the set and bug the cameraman and bug the sound man. What are you doing that? Why are you moving that over there? Why are you doing that? What do you call that light? What is that thing? What's the 3K? What's the 5K? What is that? What's the 3M? What is all that? I bugged the hell out of everybody. By the time I was ready, I was ready. Then I learned that, which they embed into your head, that black films don't do well in the foreign market. And I'm going, wait a minute, how can that be, man? I got a lot of Swedish girlfriends, French girlfriends, Italian girlfriends. You're gonna tell me they don't like me? You're kidding me. So what they had done was convince the people here they could do that, so that the foreign buyers were buying our films for nothing. And I found that out when I went to a foreign distributor, and he says, I buy all Fred Williamson movies for $3,000. What? You only paid $3,000 for my movies in Europe? Are you kidding me? So what I decided to do was go to the film festivals. I went to the first film festival in 1973, Cannes Film Festivals. Raised my little money, went over there, sit outside the lobby of the hotel, walk through the hotels, watching how they work, watching the kind of business that they do, watching how you sell a film. So what I did was start selling my own product, bringing the contracts back to the banks in America, having the banks loan me money against the contract. That's how I first started making my movies. And I only went with a poster. All you need is a poster. And if they like the poster, you said, yeah, this is gonna be a great film. And when I finish it, this is what I want. I want from you $3,000, forget it. For you, it's $35,000. Greece is $35,000. Italy is $100,000. Spain is $125,000. That's how I started raising money.
Wow. So powerful. So you kind of used your time on film set as your second university. Like that was your master's and PhD in film, right?
Learn the business of the business, no matter what it is you're in. Because you don't always want to be working for somebody and not paying you what you expect to be paid. So learn what you do and watch how they do it, and then go do it yourself.
Wow, love that. What
Wow.
kind of
Let's, I'm looking at some of the movies.
Yeah. What about? Yeah, I'm here. Am I here?
You are here. I'm not sure. It doesn't look like Daryl's frozen, but
yo, you all right?
The rest of his question.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, what's on your mind, Doug?
What was your question?
Okay, so I'm looking at all the movies you've been a part of, and you transitioned into the 80s.
Yeah.
Now, what was it like in the 80s because you have roles of police officers, you were detective. You're just doing all these great movies in the 80s. And what was it like in the 80s playing these roles as detectives? And you talk about, you had to be the man. You couldn't have couldn't have died on any movies. You had to get the woman at the end.
No,
what was that like?
That's too simple. You simplified that.
Yeah.
No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works, dog.
Yeah.
If I'm going to work in your movie in Hollywood, I have rules because I know what I stand for, and I know what kind of image that I have, and I know what people expect to see me do. Number one, you can't kill me in the movie.
Can't kill you.
Number two, I have to win all my fights in the movie. And number three, I get the girl at the end of the movie if I want her. Now, that's what I laid on Hollywood. And I tell Hollywood, understand this, you got to do 2 out of 3 of those. Or I ain't coming into your movie. Now, I know they ain't going to give me the girl. All I want them to do is not kill me and let me win my fights. Because if I get into a fight and I fight somebody, man, I got to go back to New York or Chicago, and the first brother gonna walk up to me and say, man, how you let that little dude beat you up, man? How you let that guy beat you up in the movie? Now, I'm gonna explain that. I'm gonna say because they paid me, and that's the worst answer you can give, man. So you're a sellout. No, you're a sellout, Negro, huh? You just beat you up for money. Nah, man, I know what I stand for in my life, and I'm gonna carry it to the screen. And if I don't get what I want, I just sit home, smoke my cigar, dude. I'm good. Ain't no problem.
Yeah. So has there been a time where, Hollywood has said, listen, Fred, we want you to play this role.
All the time.
Pay you a certain amount of money.
I turned 3, 4 movies down a week, man. You can't believe it. They offered me the kind of money to play, but they said, well, we know there's something it's going to happen that you may not like, but you're going to die. I said, why are you calling me? You don't believe what I tell you? Why are you calling me? Now you offend me. Now you're pissing me off.
Yeah.
Because you don't believe what I say. I'm not for sale. My integrity is not for sale. I'm not for sale. Get the facula out of here.
You're a man of men. Especially your movies are great movies, and a lot of people said they love your westerns. What was it like doing the western movies?
I'm getting ready to do a western now, man. I'm going to Spain next month to do a western with Franco Nero, and I'm doing it in Spain. Then I finished that movie. I'm going to Rome, where I made a lot of movies, and do another action movie that's going to be mine. So a western movie is good for me because you don't really see black cowboys that look like the stars of the other movies. Did a film with Jim Brown and Jim Kelly called Take a Hard Ride.
Yeah.
Okay. Now me and Jim, again, we got this competition going on, and we got Jim Kelly. Now we don't know if Jim Kelly can ride a horse, but Jim couldn't ride a horse, so he couldn't be a cowboy, couldn't play the cowboy. Yeah. And so they said, what we're gonna do, we're gonna let Jim Kelly be a half-breed Indian.
Okay.
And he's just gonna run alongside you guys, and we're gonna look up and we're gonna see him up on the hills every now and then, right? And that's what he said. That Jim Kelly never go for that, and he did, and it worked out okay. Wow. He was an Indian, right? It was okay, So it was one scene. I'll tell you about this competition me and Jim have. I'm walking across this narrow bridge, man, over a ravine, and we're walking with our horses. And I'm leading it. I got my horse behind me. Jim is directly behind my horse, pulling his horse. So we get across this bridge, and as soon as we get over there, Jim pushes me, man, says, goddamn, man, why don't you get that horse's ass out of my face? I said, what are you talking about, man? He said, get it butt out of my face. I said, why are you facing in there, man? I don't know what's behind me. If it's up to you. And yeah, we almost got into a fight over Jim's face being close to the horse's butt. I'm saying, ain't my fault, man. I got no control over that. So yeah, it's a healthy competitive relationship that we have.
I want to talk about your action scenes. I think it was one movie I see you on the top of a mountain, and you had to get a snake, and you had to get the snake and then drop it down, and the snake would bite I think he was one of the bad guys.
So
you had to wrestle.
What's your
you had to, yeah.
Black people don't like snakes. What do you want from me, man?
Yeah.
Listen,
Was
I did King
was
Cobra
that
commercial.
you?
I did King Cobra commercial. Understand
Yeah.
it? I came into King
Yeah. Yeah.
Cobra, smooth taste food. Yeah. On the can was a snake on the can. Black people wouldn't buy it.
Mhm.
Black
Yeah.
people wouldn't buy it till they took the snake off the can.
Wow.
Snake off the can,
Wow.
and the beer went through the roof. But that little cobra on the side of the can, they wouldn't touch it, man. So, hey, black people do not like snakes.
Yeah, I don't like snakes.
Yeah, yeah.
And
How about you,
So
Dollar?
them either, correct.
Did
Guilty
you
as
do your own? Did you have to do a lot of your own fight scenes?
I have to.
And what was that like?
I have to. Nobody's in Hollywood my size. There's nobody 6'2" that look like me in Hollywood. Every stunt that you see is me doing it, man. I mean, I'm in shape to do it. I do what I can, and there's nothing that I can't do, except swim really good. I can't be no Johnny Weissmuller, okay? If I'm gonna have to do that, you might need a double, but jumping out of cars and jumping out of buildings and all of that stuff is me, man.
What's your favorite
Mhm.
part about the filmmaking process now that you are doing all ends of it?
Well, it has to be being in control. Being in control. If it's not my film, I still have power because they know what I won't do.
Mm.
They want to do something different than what's in the script. They come over and politely talk to me and ask me, do I want to do this or would I do this? And I say yay or nay, or show them a way that's even more better than what they have decided that I can do. So most of the time they like my ideas because sometimes they come for that. They don't know, you know, because they look at my age, they say, I'm 83, you know, can you still do this? I said, if it's in the script, I can do it. And if it's not, put it in there because I can jump over that car with no problem. And I know how to jump over the car now. Before I could clear the car. Now I know how to hit the hood first and roll over and look like, make it look magnanimous, you know? So everything is about, in our life, is style.
Yeah. 83 years old.
We are conscious
83?
style.
Yeah.
83.
83 years old.
Yeah.
You know, you don't look a day over 51. I'm 53. So
I eat a lot of black jelly beans. You eat more black, I eat more black jelly beans than you. So that's
I
my
gotta start eating no black jelly beans. Yeah.
But if it works for you, fine. I'm gonna tell you what works for me, okay?
Are you
So
still
is there
doing
any-
martial arts?
Go ahead.
Huh?
Are you still doing martial arts?
Oh yeah, of course I have to. I mean, people expect me do a little cute stuff, you know. I don't make any long fights because I don't think that's, you know, that's since Bruce Lee died. I mean, that stuff doesn't work anymore. Guys stand off and face each other and do that. No, the guy comes to me and throw a punch and boom, 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 he's on his back, flying through the air. I don't really know how he got there. That's the kind of martial arts that I do.
Yeah. Very good.
So at 83 years old, are there any roles that you would like to play, or you wish you had a chance to play, or individuals who you like to work with?
Well, again, that's a multifaceted question, man. I mean, it has to be limited. I only do what I like, only do what I want. There are a lot of actors I like to work with, but they're getting old, and so they don't be competitive to me if I want to do something physical with them, because most of the actors are all old now. I mean, even my buddies. I mean, Jim Brown, Roundtree, Billy D is in a wheelchair. Lou Gossett is in a wheelchair. I mean, all my buddies are fading out, man. So it leaves me with problems to do, to cast them in my movies and bring them as a sidekick with me. I mean, it's getting tough.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about toward's
move to Paris? I mean, I'd love to hear about living in France. And it seems like something that a lot of Black actors chose to do toward the middle and end of their careers.
Not only actors, but musicians.
Yeah, right. Even more musicians.
But the secret is very simple, really simple. You go where you love, not where people pretend to love you. There, nobody asked me to come in and read for a part. They call me from Spain, Germany, Italy. Mr. Williamson, we have this magnificent movie we're getting ready to do, and we'd love for you to consider doing it. Would you consider doing this movie, and here's what our offer? And I said, for sure. Yeah, put a little more on that and I'll be there. Well, thank you, Mr. Williamson. We're glad to have you. That's it. Here, some amazing movie come out. They call me. They said, why don't you come in and read for this part? What do you mean read? I've done 80 movies, 20,
Right.
30 TV shows. You want me to read? Fuck out of here, man.
Right. Like
Get it.
I've read a few things. You can look at
Very
any of
much.
those and see if
Very
you
much.
want me, right?
Hey,
That's crazy.
stupid. We don't gain any power. We don't gain any strength. You know, there they appreciate you and they show you a different side that you expect to be treated. If you do all this hard work and you've raised this commodity that you are now a marketable commodity, you would think they want you in the film because you're going to bring a certain audience in. They don't care about that here. That doesn't mean nothing to them. They don't even relate to that. They relate to it over there. My foreign market is 10 times bigger than my American market.
Wow.
My fan base in Europe is tremendous.
So what do you think about today's actors, African-American actors? You know, you see Denzel, he's still doing his thing. You know, it's and other great actors are really taking it to the next level. I mean, what do you think about?
What level are they taking it to? What's the next level that they're taking it to? Denzel did a Western and wore my clothes, and I thought my horse was dead. He was wearing them clothes and riding the same dang horse. I say, what level are they taking it to that the Hammer hasn't already done?
Yeah, when I look at your career, I mean, it's amazing. Did you think that you being the Hammer, a great football player, helped you out? No.
It was a negative.
But you have that name, that the Hammer.
No, it's a negative. No.
Negative?
Look at all the football players who are much more famous to me, quarterbacks and running backs, who had their one shot in Hollywood, and they couldn't do anything with it because they can't make that transition from being a sport person to that's not a given. You have a popularity as a football player. Doesn't mean you're a good actor. Joe Namath, all these great football players who had their one shot, one deal in Hollywood, then you don't see them anymore. I make a living in Hollywood. That's what I did. They came for one shot.
What made you to be who you are? That one athlete became a great actor, producer, director. What was it? What is that one thing you had that a lot of other football players did not have?
Understanding what I stood for, understanding my image. When I was 14 years old in the 10th grade, there was two guys in school ahead of me, Eugene Greenlaw and Jesse Crowder, two of the baddest dudes in school, man. If you just looked at them wrong, they'd kick your butt. They'd beat you for 2 days. You know what? I never saw them fight. I never saw them hit nobody. I never saw them argue. I never saw them fight. It's the way they walked down the hall and took over the hall and took over the school. And kids would come up to him and say, "Can I carry your books, Mr. Crowder?" They don't even know if the man could speak English. They said, "Can we carry your books?" And he goes, they flinch and walk away. Image is what sells. And if you believe you are what you stand for, you can sell it. And if you don't sell it, you still walk away being you. You have not made any commitments to do anything different. I am who I am. I know what I represent. Maybe you can kick my butt, but you're going to suffer a lot of pain in the process. Okay? Now that's enough to make me walk through any door. I remember when first time I went for a reading, I was just in Hollywood, just waiting for the Julia show to start. And I went for an interview, and in the hallway, man, it's like 25 brothers, tall, fat, ugly, dark, light skinned, all reading for the same part. Now I'm sitting there and I'm reading, I'm like, how do I fit into this? You know, this is me. What are you looking for, right? So after the third guy went in the door, it's like 15 people from representing TV stations listen to this reading that's going on there. Third guy go in, I go in right behind him. And they say, oh, Mr. Williamson, we're not ready for you yet. I said, I'm not ready for you either. I don't understand why you disrespect. This is how you are. You disrespect actors and people in this business. So I took the script that I had and I tore it up, I threw it across the desk, and I says, forget about it. Don't even call me again. Don't even see me again. If you cross the street, if you see me, cross the street, because you're not respecting me and I'm not going to respect you. I never I never got any calls to come read anymore after that.
Wow.
But not,
That's
you know, it makes so much sense what you're saying. I never really thought about, we hear the term typecasting,
Yeah.
but you think of it as an actor being typecast. But no, of course, a sports person is typecast as an athlete,
Exactly.
right? And so no one wants to see them make that transition. So you have to have your personal power, your personal image strong, and just not let anyone sell you on anything else. I mean, that really resonates to me as great life advice, actually. Whatever you do.
You are what you are. You are what you represent. It's kind of hard to change that unless you're going to do and be some kind of phony person and not be real to yourself. You are what you are. You're either sensitive, insensitive, tough, meek. One of those is you. So if that's you, live with it. You don't have to make drastic changes to make other people happy. If you're happy in that description that they have challenged you and made you, that doesn't mean you are what they think you are. But all you got to do is maintain it. And pretty soon they'll get over trying to categorize you and explain you and understanding you. They'll get over that and accept you for what you are.
awesome. Awesome. You know, one of the things that when I talk to the women, a certain age generation about you,
I can understand. I understand how they feel.
Yeah, they said about the sex symbol. You were the sex symbol.
I understand that. I totally understand.
What was it like being a sex symbol in the 70s, 80s?
You are what you are. You can't be a tough guy walking down the street, nobody moves. If you have a certain image, some people are going to move a little bit when you're walking down the street, okay? Because they know who you are and what you represent. I know what I represent back there. I stay in shape, you know? I ain't no muscular guy, but everything is defined. I don't want no muscles because my clothes fit too tight. I don't want no muscles. I don't want all that stuff hanging on me, man. You know?
Yeah.
I know what I represent, even now. Hey, 83, how many people look like this? This little gray I got on here, I'm growing it for this movie. I'm growing this little gray for this movie because I'm a businessman in this Western movie, but I'm also a gunfighter that nobody expects me to be. I got suit, tie, long coat on, but I got a little thing on the side here. So I'm a gunfighter, but they don't know that.
You're a gunfighter.
Yeah, I'm a gunfighter. I'm a slick gunfighter, dog. And they don't know that.
So let's talk about your new movie coming out. You talked about this. Yeah, you said you have a new movie coming out, and talk to us about that.
I got 2 movies out right now. On Prime Video, I have 5 movies playing right now on Prime Video. 5.
5. Wow, you've done at least 2 or 3 movies a year or 4.
I got #1 movie in Germany right now. It's called Atomic Eden, and I got another one called VFW, Veterans of
VFW.
So those are the 2 brand new out there doing it, and so I'm waiting to do this one in Spain.
Tell us a couple of the ones on Prime.
No,
You said you had a couple movies on Amazon.
I ain't telling you nothing.
We can go look it up. All right, I get it.
So
no, that is awesome. I'm glad you have not stopped, you know, because that's like, what's there to retire from? You're like refiring on the inside all the time.
It's a dirty word, retire. It's a dirty word, man. I retire when I can't move around anymore. I can't jump over a car, or I can't do a long martial arts fight without being tired. Then I'll retire. Then I'll just go cigar lane and chill with my guards, dude.
Yeah, you know.
I told you that cigar is too fat. I ain't putting nothing that big in my mouth. Look at it.
I gotta get one of them.
Right? Cigarillo.
Yeah. No, this ain't no cigarillo. This thing is 8 inches long, man, and it's like 47 rings. Yours is about 8 inches long, and it's a 55 or 50 ring. Yeah. This is 47, dog.
All right, Chad, you the man. You're the hardest work. You're like the James Brown of movies. You're the hardest working, actor. I mean, in I guess the past 20, 30 years, 40 years.
Mention that name, James Brown. I mean, that dude was a good brother, man. We had a long conversation with him. He says, "Ham, I want to do your movie." He did the soundtrack for Black Caesar. He had a great time doing it, man. He was a fun guy. He loved it. We gave him permission to write whatever. You write a song, and we'll do a scene around that song. You know, he did Mama's Dead, We did like four songs that really got big, and we wrote a bit of scene around the songs, really, rather than him bored. You do the music, we'll put in scene
I
around
love
it.
that.
Yeah.
That's working together.
It was
So,
big. It was
so
great.
talk about right quick before we go directing and producing. Are you planning on doing directing or producing in the next few years?
My next movie after this one is that, you know, that's where I have the most fun, you know, creating when you have power to create, then that's when you have the most fun. Because sometimes you're working with people and they're doing something that you know it's not going to work, but you don't have the power to say, that's a stupid setup there. That's never going to use. You're going to use that, not going to use that scene because you don't like, you're not going to like the camera that you set up. But you can't walk up to them and says, that setup you're doing is terrible. So you go with the flow, you know, and you know you're not going to see it because it's not going to work. So being in control of whatever you do is the epitome of happiness and success, right?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
about the money. It's about giving me something that I have control of what I do and what I think of myself and how it's going to look when I finish. That's the most important.
Mhm.
I want to
Wow.
thank you so
Felicity?
much, not just for, you know, meeting with us, but just for your contribution, you know, to us as Black people, as a society, you know, bringing empowering films. And wait, one more. Can we do a little bit more before we go, Daryl? I just wanted to hear about you attending the Trump rally.
Yes.
And just, you know, your views, being a free thinker. You know what I mean? For me, that's so important. And I mean, I get people that, you know, message me and they're like, you know, thank you for speaking out. It's kind of hard to vote differently, to be kind of a free thinker and to be able to embrace these things. But man, we need people that stand for that.
Well, the most important thing is when people do something different,
Yeah.
that they have to readjust their thinking. They don't consider themselves the victim or the stupid person. It's the person making the changes that is the worst person in the world, because that's not the way it's done. But if you look at it, that's the way it should be done, because whatever is being done now is not working. So wait for it to finish before you decide to make a decision about whether or not it's right or wrong. Don't judge the person making the decisions, judge the results and the effects of the changes. But
Yeah.
we ain't smart enough to do that as a total society. We're not that smart, you know. We deal with personalities rather than results.
Yeah, awesome.
So smart.
Well, I have to give you a copy of my book, 37 Days, Disenfranchisement of a Philadelphia Poll Worker, and hopefully you will enjoy that.
What makes you think I want this book?
You got to have it, brother.
Why I got to have it? What's in it that I'm going to learn?
It's a great book. It's a great book.
Let me ask you a question. What's in the book that I'm going to learn?
Huh?
What is it? That I'm going to learn?
I think it's one of those books that you understand the struggle of young kids growing up inner city, talking about why they decided to support another political party, and tired of the violence, the crimes, and the politicians that say they are going to change some things that never do change. A person that speaks out, just like you growing up. Listen, I admire your work.
No.
You're a hero.
Dude, I just helped you sell your book.
Oh, okay. Thank you. But thank you. You know, listen, to me, you know, you're a hero, especially for African-American men that stood up in the 60s and 70s, and I know, and you know, directing and producing and acting and being who you are, saying that you're not going to take certain roles. You know, when you have so many actors today are taking any role and accept these roles, and they don't see the problems when you have these roles and how it's portrayed, especially to African Americans.
I don't think they know how many people are really watching.
Yeah.
There are more people watching than you know. About what you do, about what she does, about what I do, there are people watching. Various reasons. And so you have to be consistent in whatever it is you're doing, so that if they judge you and they find out that it's different, then they've learned something because they've misjudged you. As long as you're consistent, they can never misjudge you.
Oh, all right. And with that, I'd like to
dropping
thank
the
you.
mic, but tonight we dropped the hammer several
The hammer.
times
Put
tonight.
the hammer down.
Drop the hammer night. God, thank you so much, Fred Williamson,
Thank
for
you.
being with
My
us.
pleasure. My
It's been
pleasure.
such a joy and an honor.
My pleasure.
And Mr. Williams,
They cut you off, dude. You're gone.
I just, for me,
They playing your theme song, dude.
accepting me
I
as,
guess so.
Playing your theme song over your.
I think we
AFL for my
I
show.
think
I've
the
had
hook came. The hook came
The
out.
hook came in. The music is over. The music is over your dialogue, dog.
That's all right. We just have to say good night at this point. Again, thank you so much for being with us. We look
My
forward
pleasure.
to finding those films. Have an awesome night.
Good luck on your book, dude.